Righty-ho then. So, Pudding is back from the New Year's stuff and uh, so on and so forth. We had our first World of Warship stream of the new year. At the time of recording, this will have been last night. Um, and we had a pretty nice game in Alaska. We do also have another game that will be going live today as well. Um, And yeah, I do hope that you enjoy them. I do apologize if there is also any noise in the background as well. It does seem that I think maybe my old neighbors might be either moving out or they're having some work done or something. But either way, um, there may be some noise in the background, so just keep that in mind. I do apologize for that if that's annoying or if you can hear it at all or whatever. Um, but with that said, we will get on to the game itself. This is a very action-packed game, and there will be some information in here which you may well find useful if you do in fact play this game, especially if you're at the upper tiers. So we get in and we decide to load AP from the off. Now this is something we end up having to go back on, but one of the big things with Alaska is her AP. Her armor piercing is godly. Like, Jesus Christ, it's lovely. You get the improved pen angles that you get on the American heavy cruisers, so like Des Moines and what have you. But this is at 305 millimeters. And this AP is just stupidly hard hitting. I wouldn't expect this too much, too often, but it's even not too difficult to Citadel battleships with this AP. It's not something I would go out on a limb and say this is something you should expect, but it's something that you can do. So we switch back to the HE for the Mogador here. Oh, look at that dispersion. Okay, chunk. Um, okay, chunker. Yeah, sure. So with our next salvo, we send some for the Mogador. I'm not sure what happened to this dispersion. I think this might have been unaimed. I think we might have lost our aiming buff thing. The Mogador is gonna die to these torps. There's no way that wasn't gonna happen. I kind of get the feeling that was a bot. To be fair, I do get the feeling that was a bot. Just purely based on the Well, that's what the bots do in what's it called in co-op. They just charge straight in, don't they? So I don't know. It's possible. Maybe not too likely, but possible. Now, this is where a bit of useful information comes in, though. The St. Louis. So we land, I'd say, a halfway reasonable salvo on him, I would reckon. So with the St. Louis, and I believe even the Henry, if you want to be citadeling them, you want to be aiming underneath those front guns, because at that point, the belt armor, so there is still armor there, but you run into the problem of, okay, so the French have this really trolley fucking armor scheme in that they have essentially spaced armor between the Citadel belt and the actual Citadel itself. And the problem this causes is, well, you run into the issue where they have what's referred to as black hole armor, basically, because it just swallows up the shells and that's it. So, with that said, if you want to Citadel one, aim just in front of or around the kind of area where the front guns sit, because at that point, the Citadel basically comes right up to the edge of the ship, so there's none of that spaced armor there. And you also, you might knock out the turrets because, if you hit the barbette hard enough, and the barbette goes all the way down into the Citadel, if you hit that hard enough, you can knock out the gun turrets that way too. So it's something of a consideration, but Yeah. For the astute among you as well, you will have noticed that there is a rune going into B. Now, why would the rune be going into B? That's their cap. This will become important later. We're not going to be able to kill the rune, but we are going to have to we are going to have to take some action as a result of this rune's positioning, shall we say. So we begin to reverse out in the hopes that we can catch this St. Louis again. I thought we'd reversed out far enough. Unfortunately, it does seem the island eats a few of our shells, but it's nothing we can't manage with. Not anything spectacular. But at this point, I also realise this is a very bad place to be with just how many ships are here and, how many of them have my side. So we fire out another shell against, another salvo rather, against the St. Louis. That one goes much nicer. So he's pretty low at this point. Now, some of you will have noticed that the rune is now in C. So we can all see what's happened here. At this point, I make the decision to go back to C. So at this point, I mean, there's a lot of ships here. There's not really a great deal. We can't really fight all of this with just the forces we've got here, really. Well, I mean, we can, but it's like, I'm gonna want to be kiting now anyway, so it's one of those things. I wouldn't really want to stay here too much longer as is. With that said, though, we get a decent hit on that Alaska. We put some more shells out into this Alaska, because there are, of course, two of them. And we get a pretty decent chunk on him as well. So, with this said, though, we've basically gotten the focus of the entire enemy team at this point. I was thinking of turning my guns to shoot at the rune, but I then decide against this because, realistically speaking, he's behind the island. There's not really much chance of me being able to get that. So we take some speculative shots at the St. Louis. We pop our heel. That Alaska got chunked. I don't think we're going to be able to kill him. Oh, no, we might do. I can't remember, actually. Anyways, so we get some shells out. I can't remember if someone beats me to it. No, it doesn't look like it. No, we don't kill him. He's now on 31 health, but he's now dead. So that's fine. That's what we wanted. So I make the decision to get back into C, just because, well, it's a cap. It's a good idea to keep those around and all. So at this point, there's not going to be a great deal of movement, really, after this. So, we're going to get in here, and we essentially get to farm down this Gene Bart for the time being. So we're on the upper 82k, nothing spectacular. We can. It's an okay game, but there's really not much there. 80 odd k, it should be about average for. I think that's about average for my Alaska. Yeah, another decent chunk. I'm not sure if he's either he's either not aware that I'm here, or he's just tunnel visioning on our friendly Alaska. Unfortunately, his turrets eat most of the shot there. But we get to we'll get some more salvos. We get to chunk him some more. So we get the cap. We get another chunk on the Jean Bart. Now at this point as well, we begin to start looking at other things, of course, because this Jean Bart is behind the island now. We also get undetected for the time being. We get a pretty decent chunk on that gene bar. It's the law of twos, it seems, this time around. There's two Alaskas, there's two gene bars, But either way, we get no damage there, 4 shatters, nothing spectacular. Now, I think we're about to lose our Musashi. Yeah, we lose our Musashi, which means I'm basically the only thing on this flank that people can see. Or more specifically, I'm the only thing on this flank in general. So I'm going to be receiving most of the focus here. And if you look, I'm at 44k and I only have 1 heal left. So this is going to get a bit kind of down to the wire, so to speak. But we'll pull through. I mean, to be fair, the fact you're seeing this at all should probably give you an indication as to this was a decent game. So we finish off this gene bar. And now it's time to get to work, basically. So there's not really any way we could lose this at this point. We've got all 4 caps. They're on 100 points, But it's still, I would like to survive this game, because that's always good. It's always a good thing to do, where possible. So we only get 800 damage. I'm not sure what we hit. We must have hit something that was saturated. If we only did 800 damage with a full pen and 1 shatter. I mean, unless I don't think this game does spalling damage. It might do. I wouldn't know. But we get some shells off against the St. Louis. Doesn't do much damage. 2 overpens, so like 1700 damage. And he starts to turn in, so we kind of decide to not shoot at him just yet. So we put another salvo into the Jimbart, and there goes our Confederate, which means we get a fancy, faster reload, I do believe. So unfortunately, the Alsace chunks us, and we of course don't have any heals left, so that's something to keep in mind. Our reload is now sub 10 seconds because we got the fancier, the faster reload from Halsey and the Confederate. But we also have Adrenaline Rush. Well, of course we do. What build doesn't run Adrenaline Rush nowadays? So because we got that, and Halsey's fast reload, What? Okay, the Freddy just sunk our Venom. Okay. So we're basically near enough. We're getting towards the end of the game now. And we would like to survive this, because that would be a dreadnought. But we've done well, so if we end up dying, then, fair enough. But, alas, we do not. So this is the post-battle result. So we got a Confederate dreadnought, 9,000 XP, 600,000 credits. Alaska isn't the best for credit farming, really. 144,000 damage, though. 112 shell hits, which with 305s, that's quite chunky. 1 ship kill, 4 citadels, 1 solo cap, 1 assisted in capture, 5 spotting ribbons, 7 defended, decent game. And then, of course, for our post-battle results, we got 2.5k base, next down 2216. And then the next down from there was like 1700. Our Udeloy did a good job. He did well. But yeah, so that is that game. And I do hope that you enjoyed watching this. If you have any suggestions for me, if there are any ships you would like to see played like this, pop them just down in the comments down below and I'll get right on it. If you would like to talk to Pudding at any point, more than just say a suggestion or something to try, there will be a link to my Discord server down below. And if you want to see more than just the good games, You can usually find me on Twitch, or you'll find me more often on Twitch, because most of the games that I pull for YouTube come from my Twitch streams, anyways. And if it's a good game, I record the replay file for you guys to enjoy. Well, hopefully enjoy. But with that said, this is Pudding signing off. I do hope you've enjoyed it, and do take care, everyone. Have yourselves a wonderful, morning, evening, night, day, whatever it happens to be over there. Because, of course, YouTube is an international thing, so I can't just go by English time, because that's not how that works. But yeah, I do hope that you all have yourselves a nice, morning, evening, day, night, whatever. And do take care of yourselves. I will see you all in a little bit. I will get this uploading now, and you will see another game today as well. A very different game, but a good one at that. And I do hope you enjoy that too. But I will see you then. But as mentioned, if you guys do want to see more of this, there is my Twitch, which will consist of both good games and bad. And if you would like to talk to me, like proper, there is the Discord server as well. So yeah, I will just get on with getting all of this done, and I will see you all again next time. Do take care, everyone. Have yourselves a wonderful day.